start, we have Lee Erickson. Jukka Mahonen is on course and on the steeps. Lee Erickson's in the start. Approaching the finish, Jukka Mahonen from Casca, Minnesota. Jukka finishes with a time of 44.88. On course is Lee Erickson, and in the start, Ashley Mitchell. Finishing earlier was Matt Zielinski forerunning with a time of 45.58. Just crossing the finish, bib number 44. Jukka Mahonen from Chaska finished with a time of 44.88. On course, Lee Erickson. Lee's on the flats and approaching the finish. Ashley Mitchell's out of the start and on course now. And in the start, Suzanne Ducker. Just crossing the finish, bib number 3, Lee Erickson. Lee finishes with a time of 53.62. On course, Ashley Mitchell, and just out of the start and on course now, Suzanne Ducker. In the start, Casey Weiss of St. Paul. Approaching the finish, Ashley Mitchell, and on course, Suzanne Ducker. Just crossing the finish, bib number 24, Ashley Mitchell. Ashley finishes with a time of 45.14. On course, Suzanne Ducker, and in the start, Casey Weiss of St. Paul. Casey Weiss is in the start, Suzanne Ducker's on course, and crossing the finish early was Ashley Mitchell with a time of 45.14. Just out of the start, Casey Weiss, and approaching the finish, Suzanne Ducker. In the start, Matt Matisse. Crossing the finish, bib number 72, Suzanne Ducker finishes with a time of 55.81. On course, Casey Weiss, St. Paul, and in the start, Matt Matisse. In the start, Chris Kassin of St. Paul, Minnesota. On course, Matt Matisse, and just crossing the finish, bib number 88, Casey Weiss of St. Paul. Casey finishes with a time of 40.77. Chris Kassin of St. Paul's in the start. Matt Matisse is on course. Matt's on the flats and approaching the finish. Chris Kassin is now on course. In the start, Jan Zielinski. Just crossing the finish, bib number 28, Matt Matisse, finishes with a time of 42.06. Before Matt was Casey Weiss of St. Paul. Casey finished with a time of 40.77. Also finishing was Suzanne Ducker with a time of 55.81. And Ashley Mitchell finished with a time of 45.14. Chris Kassin is now on course, and Jan Zielinski is just out of the start. In the start now, Ken McAdam of Osseo, Minnesota. Crossing the finish, Chris Kassin of St. Paul. Chris finishes with a time of 41.67. Jan Zielinski is now on course, and Ken McAdam is in the start. Jan Zielinski is approaching the flats, and now coming up to the finish. Ken McAdam is in the start. Ken McAdam is now on course, and Jan Zielinski is approaching the finish. Jan finishes with a time of... Jan Zielinski finishes with a time of 42.45. On course, Ken McAdam of Osseo, Minnesota. In the start, John McIngle got On course, Ken McAdam. Crossing the finish early was Jan Zielinski with a time of 42.45. Also finishing was Chris Gasidin with a time of 41.67. Just finishing, bib number 16, Ken McAdam of Osseo, finishes with a time of 43.14. On course, John McInglecott. In the start, Dustin Roberts.
How'd your daughter do?
Oh, she didn't do this one.
John McInglecott is on course
She did on the first one.
and approaching the finish.
Absolutely.
In the start, Dustin Roberts. Just crossing the finish, bib number 67, John McInglecott with a time of 44.35.